Hobbs, New Mexico, sits near the southeastern edge of the state, a modest yet bustling city known for its ties to the oil and gas industry. As the seat of Lea County, Hobbs has long been a cornerstone of the Permian Basin's energy production, giving it a reputation as a hard-working community. The city, with its dry desert climate, wide open skies, and endless stretches of rugged terrain, embodies the unique charm of the American Southwest. The downtown area features a blend of local businesses, family-owned diners, and regional chains, reflecting a community deeply rooted in tradition but steadily embracing modern growth. On weekends, residents often gather at local parks or attend games at nearby schools, supporting their local teams with unwavering enthusiasm. Despite its small-town feel, Hobbs has experienced economic booms thanks to oil, which has brought an influx of workers and occasional growing pains. Hobbs is a city of contrasts. The sprawling flatlands offer tranquility, but its isolation can also breed a sense of vulnerability. The outskirts of the city, dotted with caliche pits and vacant fields, create a stark contrast to the tightly knit neighborhoods and well-lit central areas. These remote stretches, often used by industries or left untouched, can feel eerie after dark, adding an air of mystery to the otherwise lively town. Elizabeth Garcia was a 21-year-old single mother whose life revolved around her young child and her dreams for a brighter future. Residing in Hobbs, New Mexico, she was known for her dedication, resilience, and warm personality. Elizabeth worked tirelessly to provide for her family, often taking late-night shifts at a local gas station. Despite the challenges she faced, she remained a beloved figure in her community, admired for her perseverance and her close bond with her child. On the night of January 16, 2002, Elizabeth began what should have been a routine shift at the gas station. The early hours of the morning were quiet, with only a few customers coming and going. Sometime before 2:30 a.m., Elizabeth left her workplace under unclear circumstances. What transpired next remains shrouded in mystery, but by the following afternoon, the worst fears of her loved ones were realized. A local resident discovered Elizabeth's lifeless body in a vacant field off a dirt road on the outskirts of Hobbs. The crime scene presented a grim tableau. Elizabeth had been subjected to violence, her injuries suggesting a brutal attack. Investigators scoured the area for clues, carefully documenting the surroundings. Among the first pieces of evidence noted were tire tracks leading away from the field and a distinct trail of shoe prints. These impressions, made in the soft dirt near where Elizabeth was found, hinted at the movements of her attacker. The shoe prints were unique, displaying a specific tread pattern investigators believed could link the perpetrator to the crime. The tire tracks suggested that a vehicle had been used to transport Elizabeth to the remote location. Plaster casts were made of both the shoe prints and tire tracks, providing critical evidence for forensic analysis. The community of Hobbs was shaken by the news of Elizabeth's murder. Friends, family, and neighbors mourned the loss of a bright young woman whose life had been senselessly cut short. Meanwhile, detectives worked tirelessly to uncover the truth, interviewing Elizabeth's co-workers, reviewing surveillance footage from the gas station, and compiling a list of individuals who might have encountered her that night. Despite their efforts, the investigation faced significant challenges. No immediate suspects emerged, and leads grew cold. The physical evidence collected at the scene, including the shoe and tire impressions, remained unconnected to any individual. The case fell into limbo, a painful reminder of the unresolved tragedy. 16 months later, on May 14, 2003, another shocking discovery would revive the community's fears. Patty Simon, a vivacious and outgoing young woman, was found dead in a caliche pit on the outskirts of Hobbs. Patty had been a familiar face in town, known for her cheerful demeanor and love of socializing. Her death bore eerie similarities to Elizabeth's case, reigniting concerns about a potential serial offender in their midst. That same day, A delivery man driving along a rural road near Hobbs noticed a shirtless man lying on the roadside. Concerned for his well-being, the man and his coworker offered the individual, later identified as the defendant, a ride into town. During the ride, the defendant shared an unsettling story. He claimed to have been at a bowling alley the night before, where he met Patty Simon. According to him, a group of men had tried to harm her, prompting him to intervene. He alleged that he had been struck in the head during the altercation and blacked out, waking up hours later by the roadside. The delivery man's co-worker, finding the story suspicious, reported it to the police. By this time, investigators were already delving into Patty's murder. The defendant's account, paired with his disheveled appearance and unexplained injuries, made him a person of interest. Police officers visited his residence shortly after he was dropped off, finding him shirtless with scratches on his arms and shoulders. His vehicle, a car with tires matching the tracks found at both crime scenes, was also present. Detectives obtained a warrant to collect forensic samples from the defendant, including blood, hair, and other evidence. They also photographed his shoes, which bore a tread pattern consistent with the impressions found at Elizabeth's crime scene. The turning point in the investigation came when the defendant, during an interview about Patty's case, began volunteering information about Elizabeth Garcia. He mentioned details about her abduction and murder that had not been made public. This unexpected admission prompted investigators to re-examine Elizabeth's case with fresh eyes, linking the two crimes through forensic evidence and circumstantial connections.
We got in the car and he asked her, "Have you gotten dope?" She said yes. And then he tried to rob her.
What do you mean?
Well, he pulled out a knife and stuck it to her throat.
DNA analysis provided a breakthrough, with samples taken from both crime scenes matching the defendant. The shoe and tire impressions further corroborated his involvement, tying him directly to the locations where both women were found. Surveillance footage from the bowling alley confirmed that Patty had been in the defendant's company on the night of her death. The case went to trial, with the defendant facing charges of first-degree murder for both Elizabeth Garcia and Patty Simon, along with additional charges related to the circumstances of their deaths. The defense attempted to argue that the cases should be tried separately, but the court ruled that the similarities between the crimes justified a joint trial. Prosecutors presented a compelling case, drawing on the forensic evidence, witness testimony, and the defendant's own incriminating statements. The jury was shown the casts of the shoe and tire impressions, the DNA matches, and the timeline of events leading up to both murders. The trial culminated in a conviction on all counts. The defendant received a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, ensuring that he would never harm another innocent life. For the families of Elizabeth Garcia and Patty Simon, the verdict brought a measure of closure, but could never fully heal the wounds left by their loss. The community of Hobbs, forever marked by these tragedies, found solace in the tireless efforts of law enforcement to bring justice to the victims. The case remains a stark reminder of the importance of perseverance and the critical role of forensic evidence in solving even the most challenging crimes.